Tattoos are a popular way for people to express themselves, and several students and faculty at Andover have engaged with the art form. We interviewed several of them about the meanings and stories behind their tattoos. Here's live reporter Jason Zhang, 23, with the story.
Thank you. This week, we interviewed several students and teachers around campus, each of whom sports a unique tattoo or set of tattoos. Noah DINKINS, class of 2020, got his first set of tattoos done earlier this year, a decision that he was initially nervous about. Inspired by the tattoos that his sister had, DINKINS chose to have the words "Fear God" tattooed on his biceps.
It says "Fear God" on the inside of my biceps. Yeah, I really wanted to get a tattoo because my sister had like a ton of them. I always thought they were really cool, like looking at other adults and like guys that go through that have tattoos and like just the art behind it. Super cool. I used to be like super against them and like. I used to be like on that wave of people that like it's permanent and you might not like that when you're older and stuff like that. But then I think I was like 16 and I was like that's kind of cool. Like I think I might want to get one myself.
Aside from their looks, tattoos usually hold personal significance, such as representing special events in people's lives and values that they believe in. We spoke to ALIX CAFFRAY, class of 2020, who recently tattooed herself with Andover's school motto, "Non-Sibi." According to CAFFRAY, her tattoo represents all of the memories of her time at Andover, as well as the spirit of selflessness that she strives to embody.
It actually says non-Sibi on it. Before coming to Andover, I didn't know what that meant. Like it wasn't something that I knew, just the motto itself. So having it tattooed on me just reminds me to be selfless, and also reminds me of Andover. I'll have it for the rest of my life.
For ALECIA FINNEY, instructor in biology, her many tattoos relate to her profession and interests. With tattoos of Darwin's finches and a bumblebee, many of Finney's tattoos draw inspiration from her passion for biology.
I have quite a few. I mean, last time I counted, we're looking at somewhere between 15 and 20. So there's a decent amount. But the most visual ones or visible ones that I've got on my arms are mostly science-based. So I have a lot of birds and bugs and flowers and things like that. But then I've got other things like, I've got an origami crane because I read Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes as a kid, and the story of communities pulling together to support a person just always really stuck with me. But mostly I keep coming back to nature and the natural world, which it makes sense given my discipline. It all comes back to biology eventually.
We also spoke to Yasmine, instructor in Spanish. Alan always wanted to get a tattoo, inspired by role models from her childhood and early adulthood, such as poet Nikki Giovanni.
I got my first tattoo in September of 2016, and it was after the passing of Prince, who was my idol. And I decided that it was a good way for me to, or a fun way to really represent what he meant to me in my life. And so the funny thing is that I've always wanted to get a tattoo. I like the idea of being able to represent who you are, in the way that it's comfortable for you. And so, but I never sort of fell into the trends of getting a butterfly or getting your name in a certain foreign characters, or even like the armband. But then I knew that this was the time that I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds right. This feels right.
Thinking of getting your own tattoo? Many of those we spoke to gave advice about how and when to actually get a tattoo.
You don't want to get a tattoo and then regret the situation, the tattoo. You don't want to get a name and then have to go back and erase it, and after that relationship is over with. And so, yeah, I would say really to wait.
I think kind of just go for it. I mean, obviously you might want to put a little thought into it because it is on your body for life. But at the same time, I wouldn't pay attention to people that talk down on them and say you might not like that when you're 80 years old. Because personally, I think I'll be lucky to be alive at that age, let alone I don't really care how it's gonna look on me. Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't get anything that's like, derogatory or bad, and you put some thought into it, it really means a lot to you. I think you should just go for it.
The way you interact with the world as a tattooed person is sometimes differently than we'd expect. And ultimately you have to remember that, when you make this choice, you are you're putting your body on display in some ways. And so the way you choose to do that, really has to be reflective of your comfort level, and how you're comfortable with people interacting with you.
Jason Zhang reporting.
Thank you, Jason.